Hi everybody, it's Katie. Today is episode number 3 of this Little Mermaid journey. Today I'm going to be working on the underwater palace, the King Triton's home where Ariel grows up underwater. And here's the start, Ariel's house here. You can see I went ahead and customized it to this beautiful kind of teal sea green color. I really like the way the door looks fancy, and we have a lot of work to do to make this into a palace today, so I'm going to jump right on into the speed build. The castle in The Little Mermaid is absolutely gorgeous. It's mostly yellow in color from all the angles that we see, and it is covered in beautiful round spires, the kind of design we could never really aspire to perfectly in Animal Crossing. Instead of trying to mirror or match something that would be almost impossible for me to be happy with, I decided to go with my own interpretation of a beautiful mermaid castle. I'm going to be sticking to a lot of the pastel colors as I build, and right now I'm working on the terraforming. There's a lot of land to build up because I want to make sure that there's height and elevation. It should be really grand and take up a lot of beautiful space on the island. I am covering all the land with sand. As I pull it up, you can see here, and I'm trying to decide what to put in place first. I decided on these really beautiful high items, which are the new plaza items. They definitely look like castle spears, but I also really don't want it to be just those items, so I'm mixing in a lot of things together, including some of the ice things. The frozen pillars and the frozen partitions, along with the new plaza items, a couple of kids' tents, and some of the castle walls and gates. It's quite a combination of items. Typically, when I do large, big builds like this, I have a lot of different items in my pocket that I know that I want to use, and I usually have a shape in mind, kind of the visual idea, but I don't perfectly know how things are going to go together. It can also be a little bit of a puzzle. You'll see in here I have the items I want to put down, and then the spacing doesn't quite work, and I have to go back and forth, and you start shifting items back and forth and adding more land to stand on just so that you can get something placed down the right way. It's actually a lot of work, but I don't mind the puzzle. I like puzzles in real life. It's kind of a fun challenge to try and figure out how to put things exactly where I decide I want them to go. The shape on this particular castle actually came together fairly easy, and I was happy with the design and the shape of it without having to move or pick things up terribly much in between the process. And once I start down here on the bottom, I really focused on getting more of the mermaid items in. They definitely inspired the colors that I'm using. Each of those mermaid items by themselves have the beautiful teal, pink, and purple colors to them, which I really love. The first stage of the castle is done, but now I need to get a couple of inclines put in place because they're going to be part of the build. I'm over here at Resident Services. I'm going to talk to Nook and get at least one of the inclines in place. You see, anytime I put together these big, beautiful buildings, it's really nice to include some sort of structure or platform so that you can view it properly. There's a little bit of land that I terraformed right in front of the castle while I was working, and I want 2 inclines to go straight up to that platform. I'm thinking, I don't know, probably white. None of the inclines are really the look and feel that I want, and the blue is just a little bit too dark for the pastel, so white it is. I'm gonna go ahead and come over here. You'll see I've got 2 places. I'm just going to do a little test here to imagine it and make sure that the white is going in the right location, and I think it is, which means now all I need to do is fast forward through a couple days. I'll get this incline put in, and I'll get the one on the other side put in so that they're symmetrical, and then we'll pop back in and I'll show you what the castle's looking like. It's been a couple of days in the game, and you can see this little platform here with the inclines all put in place, and I did put a little bit of a fence down. I don't know if I love that. It may move in the future, but here if I put the camera mode on, I can sort of scroll up and tilt, and you can get a much better view of the top of the castle. In fact, I thought I tested this before, but I think I need to be at least 1 space further forward, so I may have to move this little bit of a platform a little bit, but you can still get a really good idea of the grand scale of the build, all just from being able to go up a little higher. The next step is probably something I should have thought in advance, and that is the custom patterns. I didn't do them yet. I wasn't sure how far out the castle was going to go, so I decided just to get into the build. Sometimes that's what you have to do, but I definitely want to put this beautiful coral pattern here on the ground so that it helps incorporate the castle build into the sand. I'm thinking I probably need a little bit of this pattern underneath everything over here in the castle, and it is going to be a lot of work. I'm going to have to pick everything up that's on the ground and stick the pattern down, and you know what? I'm just going to get this done and I'll get back with you guys. Check it out, you guys. I put down the custom patterns and a little bit of extra decorations in here, and I love it. This is my first real look at how all these patterns come together and work, and I am blown away. This is one of the coolest custom patterns I've ever worked with. It really is very versatile and extremely well designed. Kudos to the person who created it. If you look on my map here, that top right corner, you can see where the palace is. I think it has a really cool shape on the map, as well as the inclines and the platform in front of it. I love the way that putting the sand pattern down on top of the elevations helps it to kind of fit all in. It has a neat look to it, and I really want more of these areas on the map. The ocean seems like it would be flat, but it's actually got a lot of variation. So we're going to pull up and create some more coral areas. Here is a grand tour of the underwater palace, and the area here in the top corner around it, you can see I brought in some of those beautiful vines and flowers and weeds and the fish models, just a few really cool items. I also have a workstation in my shed here just because I needed someplace for convenience. And then just walking through the castle, you've seen this part before, but as you come out into the underwater area, I really love the way this is coming together. Originally, I was going to round the corner of the cliffs that I put up, but some of them would be a little bit too small to round up, and then I can't put the custom pattern on top with the beautiful coral. I debated back and forth quite a bit, but in the end, I decided to just go ahead and leave them square and use a lot of roundness from the other things, and I even did the side of the beach over here. It's not meant to be land and beach, it's just meant to be all one big area together, so everything is decorated with the same type of inspiration, and you can see the bubbles, the turtles. I dropped quite a few shells in here too. I am really not going to be focused on trying to get a 5-star island because I'm going to be dropping shells all over the place. I love the way this came out. I hope you guys are loving the way this island is coming together as much as I am. It's been a really fun project to do. I hope you found something useful here and continue creating in this game. Until next time, have the best Animal Crossing day.